All right, well, welcome to the first episode of the No Quarters podcast. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
It has been.
Planning this out for, 2 months now?
I think longer. I mean, honestly, we've talked
Yeah,
about it forever.
silently,
I bought that
kinda.
thing over a year ago,
Yeah.
you know, so
And we
yeah.
finally, I think about a month ago, started putting the work into this studio room over here at the Sim Shop Meridian location, which is pretty freaking rad.
yeah.
yeah. Well, we learned a lot of hard lessons about construction in this room. So
Yeah, mostly painting.
painting a ceiling. Apparently, you're supposed to use a mask when you wear a sprayer
Yeah.
or shoot a sprayer. So I was like coughing up. My tongue was black.
That's,
I was
perfect.
tasty. That was good.
Yeah, so I think, kind of the goal of today's episode is really just to give some insight into what we are going to be talking about, what our content is going to be around, kind of share what the goal of this show is going to be. Our goal is to be putting out shows hopefully once a week, basically from here on out.
Yeah.
Got a pretty good wish list of guests that we're trying to recruit to come on, but
Pretty exciting.
super exciting.
Yeah.
Already have people talking about wanting to sponsor the show, which is crazy.
Let's go. Give us money. We'll take it. I'm cool with that.
But yeah, so I mean, Rob, like you kind of brought the group together. You started the conversation. So like, what's your inspiration? Like, what do you want to do with this?
16 years, man, of hard ups, good ups, some hard downs, but there's a lot of egos involved in the gun world or this industry,
Yeah.
this community. And I was actually affiliated with FPC back in the day. Actually, it was called Cal FFL in those days. And we tried to get all of the dealers in California on board, but I was actually the vice president of that and
Of Cal FFL?
of Cal FFL, and I'd go into dealers, and it was like they didn't want to talk with me because I was their competition.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And all we were trying to do is keep people compliant from getting shut down by the DOJ.
Yeah.
And I had long staying power. Obviously, I'm an assault weapons dealer in California, which is a difficult thing to do and stay
Can you
compliant.
define what an assault weapon is?
Yeah, an assault weapon. So they call it a dangerous weapons permit. So anything that takes a detachable magazine that's not neutered or 50 cal, things of that nature. So that license only allows me to sell to a certain group of people. But knowing that I had those licenses, I was in the business for a long time. I've had audit survivability. I thought it would be a good idea, and I'd join Cal FFL as a member, obviously. And then I was recruited to actually spearhead some of the outreach to the other dealers, and it just didn't take off.
Yeah.
So that was a hard kick in the balls, to be honest with you, because I felt like I was doing something good for the community,
Yeah.
the gun community, dealers, and it just didn't take off. So that was after everything being so successful with Sacramento Black Rifle in the day, I was like, dude, this is a shoo-in. Like we could totally change everything. We could all be on the same page. We can communicate as dealers. We could let everybody know what's going on. We could help each other. Dealers could reach out to us if there was a DOJ inspection. We could actually be there for each other. Just didn't work, and it was unfortunate because I mean, this community
too many
is
people not willing to come together.
yeah, it sucks. And so another big kick in the balls was when we opened up here, in Boise, and I tried to reach out to a few people, and it fell on deaf ears, and I found, Jeremy came walking in the store, and
I think
then-
Jeremy just came walking into everybody's shop.
I know.
Dude,
Like,
that's exactly
hey, what's
what
up?
I did.
I'm here.
Hey, I'm new.
yeah, and so
You guys
we
want to sell stuff to me?
I don't even think I met him first. I think it was, past employees that brought us all together. Thank goodness. And, we met you guys with Factor, and you guys came walking in off the street too. And it was just like, we all clicked, and now here we are, 3 years later, finally putting something together here locally in the Treasure Valley. And I think this thing's going to rock, and anybody that doesn't want to be on it and
That's cool.
Yeah.
wants
on another
to
show.
work with us, I think it's going to be a shortcoming of themselves, because we've got a pretty good
I think we got a pretty
Group of
solid group
people.
of people. I mean,
Yeah.
just like the local companies that we have, that frankly, a lot of them came from California,
yeah,
political refugees here in Idaho.
100%.
But the community of people that's around, and it's just people that are willing to be there for each other, not only in business, but personally, like it's pretty rad.
It is pretty cool.
So
And thank you very much for letting us take over some of this space here. I
Oh,
mean,
dude.
obviously space is very crucial to a
Yeah.
small business.
Yeah.
It costs money, and we're all putting into this together.
Yeah.
We're not making a dime on this, and we're in this thing thousands of dollars so far. But I think it's for the better good, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's an honor to actually be with you guys, and I can't wait to see what we do from here
Oh, same,
and the
man.
guests that we bring on, because I think our little core group of people that we have right now is paramount. And I think
Oh.
that we could grow this to make this thing some big group, some community that I think people are really going to benefit from,
Totally.
especially the smaller shops that are in town that are
Yeah.
kind of forgotten about, good or bad. You know, they might not want to be on board. I don't know, but we could help them if they want to reach out, and we can give them some of
Yeah.
the goods, the bads, and the uglies. And
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's not gonna just gonna be gun stuff too. Like, I mean, it's part of the reason why we went with no quarters. Like, it's gonna be political. We'll talk about, what's going on locally, what's going on abroad. We could talk about social topics. We could talk about what's going on in society. We can talk about, I mean, Jeremy and I started burning down on like faith and religion the
Big
other
time
day. Just
yesterday.
like I think the point is like, especially people that just view the gun industry through the lens of social media, you start
Sure.
to think that that's all those people are.
yeah, no,
They're
Yeah.
comprised of they just talk about, whatever's coming out, what's hot, what's new,
Yeah.
or who's going to sponsor me to talk about this. And like the reality is like most people that are heavily into guns, like after a certain point, it becomes a smaller part of your life. Like you care about it a lot. You put a lot of energy and time and money investing into it because you care about that thing. But the reality is like, hell, we spend most of our time talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of it's
Yeah.
politics.
We're
you know
real
what I mean?
humans too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, like we have lives outside of guns.
It's
So-
funny because, there was a stint in time where I dabbled in the fishing scene, and I got heavily invested in it, like $100,000 boat. Then you got the truck. Then you got all the tournament fees. It's because I was just so tired of talking about the gun community and,
Yeah.
and everything in it when I actually had a passion for fishing as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And then people were like, oh, well, you just totally forgot about the gun industry. No, I just forgot about being immersed just in that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I had to take a break for a while, and it was a good 4 or 5 year break. And then I kind of missed the gun community, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I was kind of getting bored with it, and I opened up Sparks 9 years after, Sacramento, and then I dabbled in 2020 doing this and moving up here, and
Yeah.
it's kind of, I don't know, dude. Living up here is a totally different scene from
It's
California.
a different pace of life.
It's
Oh,
a different pace of
absolutely.
life, and the people that we've met are amazing. I'm not going to say that the weather is amazing because it's a little bit used to, getting used to
Yeah.
coming from California where you don't really have bad weather and
Well,
you
yeah,
take it
there's,
for
there's no
granted.
seasons. It's just like it's either hot or raining.
Exactly.
Well, I was
So-
talking to a friend about that the other day. I was like, dude, just move to Idaho, man. Like,
Yeah.
He's a good dude, and he's struggling out in California. I'm like, you just need to come up here, man. Like,
Yeah.
we got the homies. We have this great network. We'll get everyone, like, rallied behind you. We'll get you up and running. We'll do whatever. And he went, but it's cold. And I was like, it's only cold for 7 months out of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Like, that's not horrible.
Yeah.
Only 7.
I know, right?
Only 7.
I just thought about it. That's a good conversation we should do an episode on, talking about like when is it worth to stay and fight? Like California,
Yeah.
we all left California. Like we
Yep.
all saw value in moving and leaving. Like, maybe we should do an episode on like talking about like when's it worth staying and fighting and when's it worth
Bouncing in.
saying, hey, like it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
And why? Like what factors lead in that. So
Yeah.
I had a very good conversation with a customer on Saturday. I've been working a lot of Saturdays lately. Just I want to be in there and I want to see people's faces because when I'm doing the admin stuff, I don't really get to interject with a lot of customers
Right.
anymore. So Saturdays, I don't have any admin stuff really to do. So I've been out there and listening to people, and it's funny just hearing different stories from people that have moved here or people that have been here. And then when we explain to them, hey, we have 3 stores.
right.
We came from California, and they're like, well, you still have that store down there? I'm like, yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's our number 1 store,
Yeah,
and we got to
killing it.
fight, and that's where all the fight is coming out of.
That
Right.
is.
The Ninth Circuit covers Idaho. People forget that, but all the fight is
It's
down there.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's just funny the different reactions on people, when you tell them things like that. But it's awesome to figure out, where people are coming from, what they like, what they dislike about Idaho.
Yeah. What
And
it's like
it-
being a transplant.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
hated on constantly.
It's so funny. When I first moved here, I had my realtor, and everyone was just like, man, like, you need to get your plates changed. Stat.
He said,
And that's so true because I got a speeding ticket for going 5 over.
Oh, dude, I'd get double birds like down the road all the time.
Yeah.
Like-
The wee woos were just popping off. So I did that. But like, honestly, I've really, with the exception of like friends that are native to Idaho, I've had 0 bad experiences. Like everyone here is just like,
The drivers do suck. Let's just all be honest.
I don't know. I actually prefer like the little bit slower. Like everybody kind of is like right on the speed limit now. The speed limits are a little slow, but like I don't know. I find myself getting in far less like situations where I'm just
Anger.
Angry, like pissed off, like want.
You
to
don't
road
drive
rage.
enough. You don't drive enough on this freeway.
That's probably fair. I don't. I stay off of 84.
Yeah.
Well, it's like at least once a month I'm on right here on Locust Grove, and I just see, boom, just Black Rifle truck just jamming past me. I'm just like,
That's
damn,
me.
son, someone's going to work. Where's the fire at? That's why
Yeah,
I
I like
texted
my
you the other
job.
day. I was just like,
Sure.
slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
sure.
A. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great, man. No, but yeah, it's and it's going back to kind of what you were talking about earlier too, kind of like in your like intro, so to speak, was really the huge divide in the firearm community, talking about like the Firearm Coalition or Firearm Policy Coalition.
Or even in just like the conservative community.
Yeah, man. And it really comes down to, even out here, I mean, SimShot's obviously like firearm instructing, right? We're an outfit, and people look at us as competition. And I'm just like, man, like do your thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what we're doing.
You can't look.
Right.
You can't look at it like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot for me. I look at Instagram like we all do, and we get immersed in Instagram, and you start looking at all these people, and you're like, dude, I want to be like them, or how do they have it so good? Reality is, they have it just like I do.
Yep.
They have it just like you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, we're all the same. We all put our
Oh.
pants on the same way. Some of
Rose-colored
us,
glasses. The internet is.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to get caught up in that, but
It is, but it's just a divide.
it is.
Just like, man, like if like there are other firearm instructors in the valley, and a lot of people will know that like if they're struggling or if they need any assistance with something, they can come here and have like people to support them, right?
Mhm.
And even in like like the gun sales, like the Black Rifle guys know that this is like a place they can come, and if they have questions about stuff, like I'll help them with anything. I mean, and the idea that yes, in some sense we're all competition, right? But Idaho's also grown to the point where I don't think that it's there's not such like a disparity of people here where we have to fight over it.
Right.
And I think ultimately trying to bridge the gap is huge. Like we need to make sure that, because the more we fight, the less we're going to see eye to eye on even firearm policy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I heard Joe Blow that I don't like is in support of this. Well, maybe I'm a little less supportive of that now.
Being free to disagree about some stuff or just like flesh things out. I mean, we were messaging back and forth when 214 came out.
Yep.
About like it's different when it's my kids, and then
Yeah.
and then we have to step back and be like, well, is it? Is it really different?
Yeah.
Oh man, we forgot to establish the cell phone rules.
Yeah.
I know.
We're
I think
really
we
professional.
might have to turn those
it's
off.
day one. I mean,
Yeah.
here,
We're
airplane
gonna have
mode.
mistakes, right?
Airplane mode.
No, I think competition is healthy.
It's good
Yeah.
for you.
Everybody has always said, Shields being put here in Meridian, everybody's like, aren't you worried about it? Not really.
No.
I mean, they carry everything.
Right.
And that serves a purpose.
Yeah.
When you come into one of my stores or you come in here, it's like a pro shop,
Right.
right?
Yep.
You're getting a very focus-based product,
Yeah.
right? You're getting a focus-based education,
Mhm.
and you're coming for us for education. Now, you could go there, you'll probably get an education. Might not be 100% like it would be if you walk through the doors of one of my stores.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, we are students of the business. We know all the laws as much as we can stay
Well,
up
you guys
on
are
top
like
of them.
all of you guys are like intimately ingrained into the industry.
100%.
Yeah.
And we actually love it. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that you could do outside the gun industry to make a lot more money.
Yeah.
Oh,
Trust me.
dude. Yeah, I picked the wrong business to be a millionaire.
Yeah, this is yeah. This is I mean, so
into the podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Podcast, please work.
with the competition, right? There's going to become there's going to be infighting. There's going to be all
Yeah.
types of things that come with that,
Yeah.
right? But the competition, it keeps me on my toes.
I was like, it should inspire you to be better.
it does.
right?
And if it doesn't, then you
Like,
should just
your
get out of the
friends
business.
aren't your real friends unless they're pushing you to be better.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think that's huge. Like,
It-
yeah,
And we're all on our own path, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
all these stores that are around here, the home-based FFLs, everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I started in my fucking garage.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like literally in my garage
And then,
doing
and,
gun shows.
and then a storage unit, right?
Well, kinda, yes. A 700 square foot or a 500 square foot building because my HOA was like, "Hey, are you running
Yeah.
a business out of here?"
Like, I don't
I
know
was
what
like,
you're
"No."
talking
They're like,
about.
"Well, we have pictures of UPS, FedEx dropping off every single day, and we have pictures of your garage, your 3-car garage, full of inventory."
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
it's
definitely not
kinda hard
selling
to-
guns out of my garage.
No.
What are you talking about, HOA?
So I actually was forced to get a brick and mortar,
Yeah.
and it scared the hell out of me.
Sure.
Terrifying.
And it was only 500 square foot. I remember it was $1 a square, it was $500 a month.
That's wild.
and it scared the death out of me. Like
overhead.
literally, I was like, dude, this is terrible.
You know, I remember when Sack Black Rifle was coming up though, because like you used to go on these like hardcore rants on Facebook,
Bro.
and
Big
like,
time.
and it got to the point it was like when if you were kind of like in that algorithm where
Yeah.
it was feeding you that stuff before all the socials had kicked all the gun stuff off. Like Rob would pop up and he would just be popping off about whatever the hell he was.
Bro,
you
it was
know.
wild back then. It was
Yeah.
like, dude, I was getting attacked by other gun stores for doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't even have an FFL at the time.
Yeah.
Literally. I didn't. I was just selling parts.
Yeah.
And I was such a threat to these people because I was doing black rifles, the big scary black rifles.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we named it Black Rifle, because it was so like back
Taboo,
then,
scary.
2006.
Wait,
or, I mean,
you didn't steal it from the coffee company?
yeah, right. 2000, that's a whole other conversation.
Those
But
fucking goons.
2006, 2007,
Yeah.
you know, it was a passion of mine. 2008 rolls around and Obama, the whole world is, and I'm like, dude, why everybody wants all these guns? This is crazy. This is just a hobby of mine turned into a business.
Bad
Yeah.
politics is good for business in this
Dude.
industry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's wild, dude. And then, the rest is history. But I mean, the competition aspect of it, I think that it's very healthy.
Oh, it's
It is
necessary.
scary, obviously, when anybody else new rolls to town. I'm sure it was very scary for a lot of these guys. But dude, my shop here is 1,300 square feet,
Yeah.
including the shitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know how much threat I am to a lot of these bigger guys here, but it seems like the shot has been cast over my bow a couple of times. But the competition is definitely healthy.
Which is so silly because it's like, how much better would it be if everybody just freaking played nice in the sandbox? And
they
like,
will. They'll come.
Dude.
They'll come around. They have to.
They have to.
You know what I
Or-
mean?
or we're
If
gonna
you
get
want to be,
smashed.
you want to be in this orbit, like we've got a lot of good things happening
Yeah.
between all three of us and our homies.
Well, and all of the other like local, small, and major manufacturers that are here, like we're all,
We're all here for the same. There's enough business to go around.
Yeah.
We all have our niches.
Yeah.
We could all sell a Glock. Everybody can.
Yeah. Well,
know
if
what I mean?
can't, you probably should be selling.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're struggling to move a Glock,
Yeah.
it's time to rethink your sales.
Yeah.
Sales
But
tactics.
I think it's healthy, and I think in
Yeah.
your space, it's healthy, and it's growth, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not growing,
Yep.
why are we doing this?
Yeah, I mean that's 100% true. I mean when SimShot started, we were just like 1,200 square feet, a hallway with a
Mhm.
big simulator and a front desk and like no furniture.
Dude, and now you guys have an amazing classroom
yeah,
that I love posting. That classroom's
No,
dope,
it's,
dude.
It's so, dude. When it's full, it's like the most gratifying thing in the world, knowing I can like have
Yeah.
a room of 40 people all willing to listen to what my brain says is important.
That's kind of
It's-
terrifying.
And we had our
It is-
Christmas.
it is terrifying. Once
And
I
we
get to
hosted our
thinking-
Christmas party here. I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, that was a
great.
good
It was a
night.
great
Yeah.
space for that,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. It was like family. We invited everybody that we know,
Yep.
like locally, and
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
cool. That was
Yeah,
that was
I mean,
awesome. So thank you
But
for that too.
Oh, absolutely, of course, dude. We're part of the family. You're part of our family, so it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, that was it. I don't know that we would have pushed so hard to expand so much if we didn't feel like someone had their foot on our throat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're looking around and we're like, man, these other firearm instructors are killing, but we have to be different. We want to be different. Our mission's completely different, right?
Yeah.
We're not about making the most money possible. We're about making firearm training as accessible as possible,
And it's a value.
and it's a value. Yeah, I mean,
Well, and it's such a non-threatening environment. Like my wife, I mean, it's funny. We haven't even set it up. I know you
Yeah.
personally, we haven't set up. My wife keeps asking me like, "Hey, I want to go do a date night there, and like,
Yeah.
let's just like burn it down." I'm like,
yeah,
it's such a non-threatening for new shooters.
Yep.
Like my wife's been around me and been around guns like since we've been together.
right.
You know, she's just now started going to classes. She took a class with Kyle and like,
Oh, she took the all ladies class.
yeah,
Sick.
she freaking loved it. I think she was
Sick.
there with Sherry actually.
I don't know.
Um,
Did she go to that one?
I think Sherry took
I
one
think
recently.
Sherry, it was,
No.
yeah,
It was Pistol.
maybe 6 months ago, 8 months
Yeah.
ago, something like that. Anyways, my point is that like, you know, it can be intimidating as a
Mhm.
spouse of somebody who's in this space, who feels pretty confident in it, who shoots quite
Yeah.
a bit. And like this environment provides such a non-threatening place for people
Yeah.
like that to come into. And that's
Yeah.
so huge.
It's really cool what you've accomplished in the 3 years that I've known you,
yeah.
and then the last 2 years where I've really got to know you guys.
Yeah.
And then you guys franchised down into Hollister.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
freaking
Hollister?
dope. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
What-
it.
Hey,
Shameless
Gun-
plug for the Gunco
Right.
helping us out.
There
yeah.
you go.
Getting
So,
a franchise.
I mean,
Mike's
you
great.
guys have done it, and I think there's a lot more to come
Yeah.
with this. We could talk offline, but there's a lot of things that when I look up to you guys, like I'm like, dang, dude, that's a really cool model.
Yeah.
It's clean in here. You're always doing something different. You're
Yeah.
you're gracious.
Yeah.
I'll never forget what you guys did for me last year at Range Day. That was huge. And that stuff doesn't go unnoticed.
No, for sure. Man.
And we appreciate that, Sherry and I, for sure.
yeah.
And I can't wait to see where we all go
Oh, dude, I'm
from
stoked.
here,
Yeah.
you know, as businesses
Yeah.
and this podcast and these friendships and these families, unite. Like I'm super stoked
Same.
in that aspect. So
Don't make me cry.
yeah, well, I mean, we have,
Podcast one, I'm just like,
I think we have a lot to offer, all of us. This whole
Yeah.
group that we've created, and I think this community that we're about to solidify,
Yeah.
right, and bring those people into
open up
us,
to. Yeah.
it's going to make a huge difference for the companies that want to be on board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I think moving forward, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I know this is going to be a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time and money.
Yeah.
You know, time is definitely money, and
Time
the
is
engineer
money.
behind the camera over
Yeah.
here, he's the one that's putting all this together because I can't run that. I don't want to run it.
Do you even have your camera rolling?
Yeah, that's rolling.
Nice.
Perfect, so they get to see him.
Good. They get to see
They
his
get to see
beautiful
But,
face. I'm like, don't make me and Robbie the only ugly faces on this podcast.
No, I wouldn't
We'll
subject
go out.
him to that,
Yeah,
I
we'll
promise.
go out of
But-
business so fast.
Yeah, we're done. These guys are not models
Yeah.
by any point, but I think we're going to take this thing to a whole new level, even if it catches on with the viewers or not.
Yep.
For us, our personal growth,
Yeah.
within our company, within ourselves spiritually. I mean, I know you guys are more into that than I am. I mean, I am a
Maybe
believer.
me. Probably not.
I probably can't go to church. I'd probably burn up if I went in there. But
Yeah. that's-
one of my favorite
right
words is
behind
the
you.
F word. But I'm super excited, and I'm grateful for you too.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks,
So-
man. Likewise, dude. I'm super stoked, dude. I've been having this room set up and like like 2-3 weeks that it's been done.
Yeah.
Coming in here, just sitting on the couch in the dark, just kind of like, come on.
Oh, dude,
let's
Yeah.
go.
some cool stuff's gonna
Let's
go. down
go.
here.
We got to
Yeah.
get these walls decorated, hold up displays.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
mean,
do
they
that.
did
Up on the
they
wall.
did a good job, man. Their communication was awesome.
We got
Robert over there was amazing.
That's
Gish,
great, man.
these freaking
Yeah,
tables.
these
We'll make
tables
we
with
get some
Gish, I
B-roll of
mean,
these.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to get these on
Yeah.
film.
We gotta
'cause-
get Gish on here, man. That guy's got stories.
Yeah,
He's got.
he's on my short list.
He's
I
an
sure.
interesting.
I sent that to you guys
character.
this
Yeah.
morning. He's definitely on that short list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
got a life lived. But yeah, no, I mean, even just like, dude, just so much growth in the valley from companies like us and all of us being out here is just insanity. And what you're doing, even with Range Day,
Dude,
right?
so stoked about this year.
I can't wait.
Year 3.
Yep.
First year was like what? 500 people.
No, it was actually way less. It was,
Was
like,
it really?
It was like 200 and something
It
people.
felt like 1,000. I was
last-
struggling.
We put that
Well,
thing
we-
together
we-
in 6 months, and it was
Yeah.
a headache, bro. Like
Yeah,
a lot of
remember.
naysayers, man, but we made it happen.
And then last year, how many people were last year?
Last year was close to 500. I don't even know. I lost count.
Yeah.
The last time I looked up at the hill, I got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at that line and I was like,
Dude, the parking was crazy. I mean, we had
Wow.
like full blown parking attendants. I'm like, what is this? Like,
Yeah, dude, it was an
dude, and,
event.
and
Yeah.
that's another thing, right? So, community, talking about community, I couldn't have done this without the range.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Oh,
Mark,
dude.
Mark
Double
and Karen
tap,
are
Mark and Karen,
godsends.
they are a
That's another-
blessing.
I mean, we'll get him in here too.
100%. They
what a-
are they are amazing people,
Yeah.
and
Best.
literally. I get emotional when I think about it because I couldn't host this anywhere. I've reached
Yeah.
out to all the other ranges. Everybody told me no,
Yep.
can't do it, this, that, and the other.
But that place is so perfect.
It's perfect.
It's perfect,
It's so
and it's
perfect.
only going to get better.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better. They're doing big things out there, and I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah.
And I am 100% on board,
Oh yeah.
helping them with anything that I can.
Yeah.
Um,
For context, we're talking about the Boise Black Rifle Range Day. What month is it this year? Do you know the
it's
date?
June 8th.
June 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So-
it's like a mini SHOT Show where you get to actually come out, meet the vendors, you get to meet the people behind the scenes of the manufacturers, and you get to shoot a lot of
Yeah,
guns.
Stick,
Dude, a lot
Sig,
of
Staccato.
guns.
I mean, we had J.K. Armament was out there.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
big.
there's you were out there. Are you
Yeah.
bringing the sim out there this year or no?
No, man, that
They're bringing the virtual glasses.
We
this
should
year.
bring the
Dude,
virtual glasses.
That'd be
For
cool.
sure.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
just set up a boundary and just be like, go.
Yeah. You're gonna
Don't-
freak everybody out,
yeah,
like flagging the VR.
Don't
gun around.
drop my shit, please.
Yeah.
Let's edit that out.
That's all right. No big deal.
It's all right.
Mention
It's
the
all
move
right. It's
stuff.
all right. But yeah, so it's going to be a good day, June 8th.
There we go.
You know, we're not here really to sell anything on this podcast. We're just trying to tell you we're just normal dudes in here, but
Yeah.
I really would like the support and show all the vendors the support. So the more people, the better
Yeah,
that come out. It's
absolutely.
$40. You get free catered lunch from an awesome company. And then you get to come shoot guns. We're going to have a lot of machine guns there.
Yeah.
And that's always a fun bay.
Yeah.
That's a long bay. And have patience. And then after, we're having a social hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's going to go as long as anybody wants to stay there.
Yep.
I'm in the works with, I don't know if I can say it. In the works with
Don't
an
say it.
insurance company that might be hosting that after party.
Oh, cool.
So some drinks and cocktails, story time,
Once all
and
the guns go back in the safes and everything.
Yep, once
Yeah.
everything's all
Yeah.
secure, it won't even be on the range. It'll be
Yeah.
up above the range. There's a beautiful fire pit area up
Oh,
there.
hell yeah.
It's gonna have a beautiful
Yep.
sunset.
Dude,
It's
I'm
just,
stoked.
dude, that range is just awesome.
gonna be so
Like, so
good.
I'm so excited about this.
Dude, when we host classes there, the first thing we always say, like by a show of hands, who's been to Double Tap before?
Yeah,
And our regulars are like,
Of course.
yeah, dude, like this is where we shoot.
Yeah.
But all the new people that show up for our classes will be like, yeah, I've never been here before. And I'm just like, well, welcome to your Second Amendment sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like this place is heaven on earth if you like shooting guns. Like what they've provided, the accessibility to having your own clean like bay and completely
Dude, the
private bay.
facilities are incredible.
It's unreal. I mean, even the toilets, dude, they're big vaults, but they're like the cleanest like
yeah.
yeah,
if I went to
Well,
campsites.
they take a
and-
lot of pride. I mean,
They
they live
do.
there, so it's like
Yeah.
they
They
take
do.
a lot of pride
Yeah.
in what they have.
Just great quality people, man. It's such a good place and we love shooting there. So yeah. Ridge is gonna be
I can't wait, man. It's a huge accomplishment of ours, and I couldn't do it without all of your guys' support, all the vendor support,
Yeah.
and most definitely without the range. And then without the customers, we couldn't have
Yeah.
done this. But it's resonated with the customers, and it's a big time now.
Well, I mean, last year alone, we had people flying in from other states.
No, we've
Yeah.
Texas, Tennessee, California.
That's so crazy.
I mean, dude,
People are
from
coming,
all over the
literally from
place.
across the country.
Yeah, we were like, oh, you got machine guns and vendors?
Right.
Dude,
We're on our way.
And we've got a couple customers, right, from the Sacramento area
Mhm.
that have their own private jets. They flew in last year, and they're doing it again. And one of the customers wants to fly my staff up on his plane from
Yeah,
Oh,
Sacramento,
cool.
and I'm like,
that's awesome.
well, I can't because unless you're going to do 2 trips, because I need a few of those staff members to help me set the range up days
Right,
before. But
right.
that might be a thing.
That's cool.
He might go back and forth, shuttle him back and forth. He
It's
had
like-
so much fun. You know what I mean?
That's pretty rad.
So
That's
Yeah,
reach.
so I think what to expect out of this, I mean, we're going to be talking about anything and everything. Obviously, like you guys can tell, like we're in and around the gun industry. And so we're going to be talking a lot about guns and 2A stuff and whatnot. But I think you can expect a wide variety of topics
Yeah.
and hopefully a wide variety of guests as we grow and people are, we can get people interested in coming on. But, really what this is about building community, building friendships, building relationships, and trying to break down some of those barriers that for whatever reason has created
Yeah,
this
they're
industry, like not even just the industry, but like I said, like even like the conservative side, like we used to give the left a whole bunch of shit about cancel culture, but it's like the right is just as guilty of all that.
Oh,
We're trying to
absolutely.
eliminate that
Yeah,
stuff. Like,
get rid of libraries.
yeah,
Right.
it's like the like we have to come together. We have to agree that there are going to be certain things that we see differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's cool.
100%.
That doesn't mean just
you
because
have
like,
to have that discourse.
Right.
Like you have to have.
like just because
those
we're not all
conversations.
paddling, in the same boat, like we're all like in the same river going
Yeah.
down the,
Yeah.
And so it's important for us to be able to build those relationships and be able to bring people together because that's really going to be the only way we're going to be successful.
That's
Not
it.
only as an industry, but like as a community. So
Yeah.
locally and abroad. So
I agree.
But it would be
Yeah.
cool too, business owners, right? There's a lot of self-help business
like entrepreneurial
gurus
stuff.
and
Yeah.
entrepreneurial, bullshit advice out there.
Yeah.
I can tell you 100% that anybody asks me about owning a business or how to do it, I'll help you.
Yeah,
So,
same.
Yeah.
Same.
because I've been there, done that. I've been in the car business for 20 years prior to this, owned my own dealerships. Those didn't go too well. I was very successful in the car business,
Yeah.
but the financial part of it was not very helpful to me during 2007,
Oh, yeah,
2008.
yeah.
So
That was a rough time in general.
that was a
Oh,
very
that's
rough
bad.
time. And but I can tell you what, I learned a lot, and I brought a lot of what I've learned in the car industry to the gun industry and negotiating some of our contracts, some of the things that we're doing, processes and procedures, and it's been very successful for me in that aspect. So
Yeah.
we could touch on some of those things if people want to hear
Oh, yeah.
about those without having to pay thousands of dollars to go to a seminar or buy a book or whatnot. Not that that's bad,
No, but
because
just
I've done that. But
Having real conversations with successful business
Yeah.
owners and
Yeah.
like and defining like success at different levels, right? Like
Yeah.
not everybody's got to be Jeff Bezos and Amazon, right?
Yeah.
no,
You don't have to be that to be successful.
Nope.
So
That doesn't even sound fun.
no, not
Like
even
I
a
don't
little
want
bit.
that. I
Yeah.
want the boats and the planes,
Yeah.
not the work.
I mean, he does seem kind of like an international supervillain, so that'd be kind of rad. But
Yeah, that is pretty. That's
I want to
accurate.
be like Elon Musk though, where he doesn't give a fuck about shit.
not at
He's
all.
throwing shit into space this morning. Did you guys see that? The launch this
No,
morning?
This
I
morning.
didn't.
Bro, that guy is going places, and I don't think he
You
really
mean Mars?
he's going to go to Mars.
Absolutely,
Yes.
he's going to Mars.
I don't think though that you realize that you've already achieved that goal of not giving a fuck.
Well, I really don't, but I want to be on that. I want to be on the other level where I have spacecraft where I could be
Yeah.
like, "Fuck you guys,
Yeah.
I'm leaving Earth."
Yeah,
No, but I mean, it's crazy, right? If you can dream it, right,
it can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah.
You just got to put in the work.
Yep.
And,
That's it.
you don't need to be in this little box because I mean I know a lot of books say, oh, you got to get up early and you got to do this, you got to stay up late. Well, I could tell you that I do all of those things and I don't sleep, and I'm still struggling. I'm still growing. I'm going through all the motions like every other person.
Well, the day you arrive is the day it starts to die, right?
You
Yep.
can't- yeah, you just got to
the
keep
chase
going.
is done.
Yeah.
What's the motivation? I'll tell you firsthand too. Like when I first started, even my very first business, my rental properties, all the other stuff I have going on, man, I was like just drinking the Kool-Aid from all of those guys.
Bro.
Wake up, exercise, and like no doubt, I need to exercise. I need to wake up, right? Like
And there's
no-
value in some.
There
of
is
that, right?
value in
Like,
having the extra hour of the day,
But not
Like-
everybody fits in that same box.
bro. I wake
Yeah.
up at 7:30 every day, and you will not get me out of bed. Maybe 7. Maybe I'll give someone a 7 a.m. But like, dude, like I got 2 kids at home. Like I'm not. You're tripping.
Yeah.
And you have
know
little
what?
kids too, so that's
Yeah,
you do
dude.
too. I mean, that's
We're in the trenches.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
We're in the trenches.
Yeah,
But it's-
4 and 6.
Yeah. But it's like, dude, just okay, cool. Like where you can make up that time instead of listening to all these dudes like wake up 5 a.m. Oh, David Goggins stuff, which is he's a savage, no doubt.
savage.
But like if you just stay laser focused and have like a good itinerary of your day, like
It's
you
like
know,
efficiency. right?
efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's hard too. It's hard to stay focused. There's a lot of distractions throughout the day, especially with
sure.
kids, I'm sure. I mean, they could just totally ruin one morning, like, fucking kid just shit or threw up. all-
Every
Like
morning,
your
you
whole day
mean?
is like, could be set in a different path.
Yeah.
You know, and it's easy too, like we touched back earlier on Instagram and watching all these other people on Instagram,
Yep.
you could get in a really bad headspace.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, just get sucked into this little stress box. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
So
just freaking
in your
endless death
headspace,
scroll.
that morning could set off a chain reaction of things because it happens to me. I fight those demons
Oh, man.
every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah.
And then having 3 stores on top of that, and then 3 different personalities that are running those stores,
Yep.
and then 16 to 20 employees, their different headspaces, people contacting you. You could get very distracted very quickly.
Yep.
And I know for me, I have to stay pretty positive, and it's hard. I have a great wife because she does a lot. She's
Yeah, you married up with
you
Sherry.
will yeah.
definitely.
My wife,
Yeah.
bro, I could tell you,
She's settled.
she is she's a saint, bro.
Oh,
To
she's
deal with me
amazing.
and all the like, dude, she doesn't know shit that's going on until it's ready to go.
And then
Like
she
I
does
tell
it.
her things, but then I guess I don't tell her. I think I told her in my head. I didn't write it down. I didn't tell her. And then,
forgot
hey,
to
we're
hit
going to
send.
Hawaii. What? And then she's
For 2
freaking
weeks.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing what?
Whoops.
So I mean, stay the course. Have
Yeah.
a plan. I
Yeah.
mean, and never quit attitude because
Never quit.
the moment that you quit, you've just reached your highest level.
Oh,
and,
well,
and
yeah,
let the
we'll talk a lot
nose,
about that.
let the nose fuel you.
Yeah, those do.
Like when
I love
people
those.
tell me no, and I'm just like, you mean yes?
Well, right now, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I've been on this watch kick for a couple years, and I bought one of my store managers. He told me, "Hey, I'm gonna hit this goal," and I said, "Oh, really? You're gonna hit that goal?" I said, "Well, if you hit that goal, I'll buy you a Rolex. What kind of Rolex you want?" And he's like, "Oh, I want a Submariner." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I never even checked on the prices. Go down to the jewelry store. I was like,
Well,
"Okay, well, I said yes. I'll get you a
Yeah.
Rolex," and that's the one. Well, he blew that goal away.
Shit.
And ever since then, I've wanted a damn Rolex. Since 2020, I can't
Mhm.
buy one.
Yeah.
I can't buy one. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at them, you
Yeah.
cannot buy one. So it makes me want it more. So every
Yep.
time they say no, now I could go buy one used,
Sure.
but then I don't get to go through the whole process,
Right.
like buying a Louis Vuitton purse or something where you get sit down and they show you, because I bought my wife one too, but
Oh yeah.
it's I
none
can't
of
buy one. So when somebody tells you no, you want it more. So
Yeah.
that should fuel your fire.
Oh yeah.
The competition should fuel the fire to be
Yeah.
better.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
one of the best things that ever happened to me is when I first decided to start SimShot, and I sat down with you, and I was like, Rob, I got this business plan.
I honestly, I feel like an asshole because I told
Don't.
him it's not going to work.
yeah.
There was one in California,
Mhm.
literally down the street from my shop. And maybe because the guy wasn't you, obviously, because
Right.
everybody's different, he had it all.
Right.
He had the gas blowback guns. He had the HD screens. He had the 360 rooms. He had the other ones where they're like a sim gun
Mhm.
that shot the screen. You seen those?
Yeah, it, like absorbs it or just hits it
Yeah.
and marks it. Yeah. I heard.
And the dude fell out, and he's down hundreds of thousands.
Right.
So when he showed and shared with me, and thank you, thank God you didn't listen to me, and I'm grateful that you actually asked.
Yeah.
That guy lost hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
and then he was about ready to.
Yeah.
You know, he
Swallow a
lost
barrel.
everything, house, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And I was worried about you because I'm like, man,
You've
the
seen it
market
sink.
here, I saw it sink, and the market here in Idaho is not as big.
Yeah.
There's 1.7 million people in the surrounding areas, Sacramento.
Yeah.
Right. That's the
like-
entire state.
That's
Yeah.
that's the whole
That's more than
entire
the entire
state
state.
of
Yeah, I think we're
Idaho.
like a 1.2, 1.3.
like that.
And I was super nervous for him, and I'm so glad he didn't listen to me. And he had a no quit attitude, and he did it. And now look at it.
Well, I mean,
And now we're sitting here doing a podcast
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, and not only that, but they just knocked out the wall and took over the
and
second
franchise down in Southern
And
California.
Yeah, no,
But it's like how different is your business
Oh.
plan or your business model today than day one? Like it's changed a lot, right?
It's insane. Like when I first opened SimShot, I've always been a pretty good shooter, right? And I've always had a really great way
Well,
of
that's
communicating
subjective.
with people. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, I'm all right for Idaho. I'm an Idaho good shooter, unless it's like USPSA and I'm bad. But I mean, I didn't want to teach,
Mhm.
right? I didn't want to have to put that much brain power and communication and learning in because I was still learning how to run a brick and mortar.
Right.
I didn't want to have to learn how to educate. And right away, as soon as we started, I was just like, fuck, I'm going to have to teach. Like I'm going to
Now
I'm gonna
that's
have
like
to
what you do
teach.
full time.
And now I don't, now it's like, I don't really care about anything but teaching, you know, like having the amount of knowledge I have and being so knowledge hungry and about shooting in general. I mean, I can teach stuff that I can barely perform myself and watch my clients outperform me. And I'm just like, yes. And they're like, show me. And I'm like, no.
That's why they
You
have
know?
coaches and they have
Yeah.
players.
So it's incredible how much the business is actually like really morphed. And even Nick was like,
Not
I
at
don't-
all.
I
what
don't
you
wanna
guys expect.
teach.
Yeah.
and here we are. And like Nick's back there in the sim room right now teaching, and I can hear him. And
Yeah.
And
If you
it's-
guys start hearing gunshots, that's why.
yeah, the
Simmer's right
gunshots are a
behind
good
us.
thing. That means
There's
SimShots got
making
clients.
money.
Making money,
We're
yeah.
making money. But I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I just remember, and when I got home from that conversation with you, Rob, I went home and I was like, "What'd he say?" And I was like, "He told me it's not a great idea." And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, honey." And I was like,
Dude, there's a lot of people that right there would turn off the idea. Like,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah,
like,
and I'm
let's
sorry
do
I
it.
even said that.
"No, I'm happy."
We should
you
have
did."
actually had that conversation in person, maybe at dinner or lunch, but I saw it happen to this guy,
Yeah.
and this dude had a lot of money.
I think
He
it's the
put
best thing.
He put a lot of money into it, but I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you didn't listen to it because now this thing is going to blow up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's not only the sim shot aspect, it's the CCW training.
That's-
Mhm.
The classroom
It's
is such a
the
huge part
TAC
of it.
med training that
Yep.
you have brought here.
Yeah.
It's the other
Preparedness.
instructors
Yeah.
that you brought. And I think it is only going to grow. And I'm excited to be part of that
Oh,
because
yeah.
I've got a lot of
Love it.
ideas. And I'm going to need to use your training facility for some of those.
Always.
Because there's big things happening here. And we haven't even touched on his experience. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
I mean, yeah, we
we gotta-
Josh does exist.
Josh does exist. He is actually a legitimate paramedic in
Yep.
California.
Yep.
He very good at his job. He commutes between California and Idaho, and he's a former. Do you say former or
former.
former Marine? So he's a veteran.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah.
Is what you're supposed to say.
And
That's what they say.
so once we unpackage that, I mean, there's a lot to learn from there too.
oh yeah. Dude,
Paramedics are
lifesavers.
lifesavers,
Literal.
pretty good people.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, I mean, you do the best you can.
No, I mean, yeah, I've got a variety of different experiences. I've dabbled in business. I mean, that's how Rob and I got
Yep.
hooked up. Like,
Yep.
the last business I was with, I'm no longer with, but Factory USA, who, in my opinion, still probably the best pistol parts that you can get for Glock. I mean, it's just incredible manufacturing and design
Yeah.
work.
Meticulous quality
Meticulous.
control.
Yeah. I mean, Mike, my old partner, still runs the company, and like, as far as design work goes, like, incredible. I
Yeah.
mean, he's incredibly talented. But that's how Rob and I met. I mean, we
Yep.
were looking for new dealers, and we walked in and was like, "What's
Acro-
up?" And we
across the
basically just
street.
yeah, like, and we were across the street, and we basically just like walked in, introduced
Yeah.
ourselves, and we got this like hubris. And we're like, you know what? Like, we're just gonna have to walk in and make ourselves look a lot cooler than we actually are. And
You know,
We're
we,
gonna
we blew
sell
it up there
us.
for a couple years. It
man.
was amazing.
Yeah.
It was great, you know, and things change. And I'm not saying that we're not going to sell those parts ever again. I think we really need to look at that again. We sold a lot of those parts. He does a great job. Mike does.
yeah,
Dynamics of the business have changed, but doesn't mean that it's not.
no, and like I said,
Not
I mean,
sustainable
as far as the
anymore.
product goes, like, I mean, still like I have
Top notch.
like top notch. So
All my Glocks in SimShot right now.
But,
have
like,
factory triggers.
yeah, for sure. And the other side is too is like you learn a lot going through business experiences like that. You You know what I mean? And like there are some things that we did really well, and there's some things that we failed at. There's some things that I failed at. You know what I mean? And like I take those lessons and move forward. And so I think like that's such huge perspective. You know what I mean? So
Bro, the downfalls, like right, the lessons learned, you can learn a lot from them.
yeah,
There's a lot of people that repeat those same mistakes I have,
yeah.
Oh, dude.
you know, and it takes time.
And it stings when it's in business. And like the
hurts.
sting is
It
deep,
hurts.
Oh,
You know
it's
what I mean? Because
super
it's not just the company side, but it's like there's a personal element of like am I good enough?
Yeah.
Like
Imposter
you know what I mean?
syndrome.
Like, I don't even know about imposter syndrome, but it's like because I mean I don't know, maybe this is just like blind arrogance, but it's like I'll sit at any table, like I'll have a conversation with anybody. That
Oh,
doesn't
dude,
intimidating
absolutely.
me.
That's not arrogance.
But,
That's
like,
confidence.
But the building a brand, especially surrounding a product, competing in the markets that we're competing in, you know, and in parts like it's saturated, right? Like having the vision to go forward, like having the wherewithal to be, you know, to plan, to execute on a plan for marketing and whatnot. I mean, you can have the best product in the world, right? But having a repeat customers and an expanding customer base is an entirely different thing. And especially in a world where social media hates our industry.
They hate us.
Hates
dude.
us. Like all of us have been canceled how many
We're
times?
already going to be
Like,
blacklisted because
There,
of Rob.
there.
Yeah, right?
that is one thing that this industry is lacking, and it's the social media aspect of it. I mean, there are some huge platforms out there. They're shadow banned half the time,
Right.
and if we were like any other industry, we'd
Oh, I
be
mean,
treated so much
Dude,
differently.
we'll talk about that, man. Like the launch of like certain products and they go huge, and then all of a sudden the social media shadow ban kicks in, and it's like a
Done.
cliff.
They're done.
It's a cliff. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. Well, and there's
So-
also other things in that where it's like these YouTube guys will review something and they'll just make one slight remark about a product and it just murders the product.
Yeah, that's
We saw that with the SIGs.
yeah, that's a big problem. The
So,
the spears that was
but that is also social media, right? I mean,
Right.
YouTube guy says like, "Oh, this gun doesn't shoot well,"
Or right, or
done.
when one social media personality has an opinion and then
Yep.
it becomes gospel because they've got, you know, the most followers or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you can't just form your opinion based off of what like Grand Thumb or Lucas Botkin. Like you have to
Yeah.
like put your hands on stuff. Like you can
Yeah.
those opinions can be helpful, right?
Sure. They can
100%.
guide.
They can guide you in some of your decision making, but it's like you can't form an opinion unless like you put things in your hands and you
Right.
put them through the paces. So
Yep.
And that makes me think too. It's like, man, like how is Simshot getting shadow banned for talking about safe firearm handling, but like Grand Thumb can just mag dump machine guns and just get more followers. There's something interesting. I think once you hit a certain amount of followers, they're just like, we need you.
That's
here.
all that algorithm stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, somebody's making money somewhere.
Yeah.
Like social media makes money on this industry, but they have to
Yeah.
do the whole virtue signaling of like, no,
Right.
we're against that. We'll take the paycheck, but we're against
It's
it.
that, or they go like, oh well, this is actually quality content, and yours is dog shit. So let's
Could be-
just,
they could be
let's
that
just
too.
go ahead and nip this in the button now here.
Yeah.
So no hunky dory gun stuff here.
No, it's a challenge though. Like I would say this space more than any other space that I've been involved with or consulted with in industries is the most competitive.
Mhm.
There is so much product, different product, shitty product,
So
good
much.
product, and there's no margin in most of it.
Dude, and we'll,
Especially from the main manufacturers. It's
Yeah.
almost like they are on the profit prevention program. So you've got to
For you-
sell
for you
more
guys.
for a dealer. Yes.
Yeah.
And in
let's be clear, not
no,
for them.
No, not for them. But let's just say like a state like California where they have minimum wage requirements, they have all these licensing and regulations and
Wait, you
rents.
didn't fall under the Panera Bread exemption?
Yeah, no,
Oh.
we don't fall
I
underneath
don't even know
that.
what that means.
Oh,
But
well,
so it really limits, you know, your growth
yeah.
because half of my earnings pay for my payroll,
Yep.
okay, my insurance, and my rent. And at
Right.
the very end of the day, there's a very little sliver there for us to do any growth.
Right.
So that growth has to be very calculated.
And it's a business, so like there has like net profit is important, right?
Very.
So like to reinvest in the company, but also to provide profit for the owners, you know,
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Like that's important. you
Dude,
know?
people think that I've lived just this lavish lifestyle and I'm just slam dunking everything. Bro, at the end of the day, I don't have any bills. And I've created our lifestyle to be able to sustain that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a nice house.
Yep.
We don't live in some monstrosity.
But you're not Kobe. I mean, you're not
yeah,
living
no.
in like a 20,000 square foot mansion.
we
It's
our cars are paid for. We don't have any credit card debt. My inventory's paid for in the stores. We have
Dude.
our monthly bills like everybody else.
It's like that Dave Ramsey thing, right? Like debt freaking kills people.
It does.
Murders them.
I mean, shit. Do I want to go out and buy my wife a brand new car?
Yeah,
100%. Do I want to buy a brand new truck? 100%. You know,
Yeah,
I live in that truck an hour a day driving to and from work.
yeah.
And it would be nice to have a brand new one. But
It's a nice
I'll
truck,
keep
though.
that 2017 nice. I'll keep it up.
Needs
I'll
and
keep
wants,
my-
bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So-
drive a 2012 and I'm perfectly content. with
Yeah,
it.
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all relevant, right?
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot to unpack here in this podcast, I think, and I think people are they're gonna be excited about it.
Yeah,
I know I am.
I'm stoked. It's gonna be a wild road, man. I'm stoked to see the different topics that we come up with. You know, all three of us have varying perspectives. You know, varying life experiences that have
Yep.
shaped kind of our worldview. It'll be fun to unpack those things. I'm stoked for the stuff that we agree on. Honestly, like I'm stoked to tear down some of the topics where we're like,
Dude,
we're
and
not-
there's things that
we're-
we don't
we're
even
not
agree
gonna-
on
Yeah,
half
we're
the
not gonna
time.
see eye to eye on.
So
Yeah.
Like it'll be a lot of fun. To,
I
like,
can't
pick
wait.
that
I hope we
stuff
get in
apart.
a tiff in here, like,
Oh,
you know,
we will.
like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. I know it's
I'll
gonna
flip the
happen. Be
Monopoly
like,
board
dude,
over,
no
dude.
way.
Oh yeah, Jeremy's gonna be out here like,
Fuck
"Oh,
this game.
Yeah. I'm
So-
excited, man, because they're like people kept asking me, and I've just been trying to keep it underneath my hat. Well, what's the content gonna be? Well, we're gonna freestyle this thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're not coming in here with
It's
a
not a
clipboard.
safe space, that's for sure.
That's what I was gonna say.
yeah.
Like the best way, like on the Instagram, this is not a safe space.
It's
And
not. It's
you
not.
got. I mean, you're definitely way more well spoken than I am, but like I can become unglued pretty quick, and it's not always
Just
a safe
seeing
space.
red, like-
Just words coming out of my mouth.
Well, and there's times, you know,
You need
like
to get a beat button.
yeah.
just gonna constantly sit here when you're talking.
Yep.
Well, I think, you know, some of the things we're gonna have our serious discussions.
Right.
And we're going to be taking Q&As, hopefully on the YouTube and, you know, sometimes on the the Instagram
Yep.
and
Yeah,
the Facebook
we'll
pages.
shout out all the how to get it.
But then, you know, right now, you guys know that I had Gish make us a
The
Oh,
burner?
yeah.
whiskey
corner
rack.
thing.
Yeah.
Who told me?
Is
I
he
think-
working on it still, or is it done?
No, I don't know. It might be done. I don't know.
Okay, I'll message
So
him too.
Gish that made these, he's a very experienced and accomplished welder.
Yeah.
If you guys see
I'll,
these
I'll roll in
tables.
some B-roll of the tables. I mean, they're pretty crazy.
This guy's awesome, and he's making us a corner unit for that wall over there for whiskey and some vodka. I'm a vodka guy, but
Tito's.
I know, yeah, Tito's. And there'll be some sipping Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Thursdays or Fridays when we come in here, and we're
Yeah.
just gonna let it loose, and
Yeah,
those will be everything goes. We'll probably do some of those live
yeah,
and take some questions right then.
yeah. We could
and-
definitely figure out a way to do some, you know, Instagram lives or Facebook,
Yeah.
Cell
YouTube
phones.
lives. Yeah.
Boom.
But
Hit it up.
I'm excited, guys. Thank
too.
you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Dude,
And
we planned on 15 minutes.
Did
we're
we?
We're at 48 minutes already. So I mean, just we can all run our suck here pretty good. So okay, so No Quarter Pod on Instagram, YouTube. We're gonna be on all of the major podcasting platforms, so Spotify, Apple, Amazon. If you guys have requests for any of the little ones, I can get our feed to like all the little guys, iHeartRadio and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
too. So and then if you guys want to send us emails, we're in the process of getting our website established. So it's not up yet, but you can email us currently at noquarterpod@gmail.com. It'll eventually go over to a professional email, but bear with us for now while that stuff gets established. Please follow us, share our content. You know, the best way we are going to grow this is through you, the audience.
Yep.
So if you have ideas, if you have guest ideas, if you want to throw somebody our way, if you want to come on, you know, and talk about something, like shoot us an email.
if you have a business here in the Treasure Valley and
Yeah.
it's easy for you to get here and you want to get that message out,
Right.
that's another thing. Range Day. I told multiple people to drop comments of what companies they want out there. It's $150 for a vendor spot.
Dude,
That
which is free. I mean,
It's
let's
just
just be
free.
honest,
Dirt
it's free.
The benefit, I mean, even for us, like $150, we go in, we set up our booth, and like
You're gonna spend more than that on a lunch with three dudes,
Bro, you
Like,
can't even
come
go
on,
to
like-
the you can't go to the park or
No.
one of these other events here for under $250.
nope.
I'm trying to make it affordable, pay some of my my cost because
Right.
I have fixed cost. One, I have
Right.
insurance. Insurance is a
That's
motherfucker.
That's the big
The
one.
biggest one yet.
And ammo.
And it
There's a-
goes on more people. So
Yeah.
the more at the very end, I got to tally it up, and then I owe the insurance company more money at the end. They gave me like a flat fee last year, but it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this year it's going to be double, and because of the people. And I got to be honest with them because if there's a loss,
Yeah.
like everybody needs to get taken care of. But so we can't fudge that. But $150. I don't care if you're a cooler manufacturer here locally. If you do arts and crafts, come out.
Yep.
You are going to have so much exposure in a 5-6 hour window,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're all going to be like-minded people.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the crowd last year, I mean, so many
Yeah, that's cool.
awesome people. I met so many freaking cool people that I'm still in
Yep.
contact with last
Yep.
year
Yeah.
that I didn't know existed beforehand, man. People just coming up like, what's a sim shot? And then boom, now we like go golf, you know,
Right.
go golf, have lunch together.
Bro, Ageless Men's Health,
Oh yeah.
bro. Those guys,
Is that the TRT guys?
I love
Yeah.
those dudes.
Yeah. Dude,
I
they've
love
been-
those dudes. They love us.
Yeah.
They come to every single one of our events.
Yeah.
The flyers do not last. I'm dropping off flyers every week over there. Those guys are amazing, and they were doing. I don't know how many blood draws they did out there. They did so many blood draws right there on the range.
Yeah.
It's savage.
I'm
Like-
sure we'll get in touch with them. We can get an affiliate link or something and throw
Yeah.
it in the show notes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, we could
So-
definitely get at least Ben will come on.
Yeah,
Ben and
100%.
Mark or something.
They're good guys.
Yeah, they're good dudes, and honestly, dude,
The whole
like,
staff over there is amazing.
yeah, and they know exactly what my ass looks like.
That's really
They know
unfortunate.
exactly what my ass looks like. Probably more than my wife. They see it every
Yeah.
single week, up close and personal, 4 injections.
Yeah.
So we'd love that. Yeah, we should definitely get them on.
For sure.
Talk
They'll be
about
on. We'll
men's
talk to them.
wellness.
Take us
Cool.
out, man.
Yeah, so you guys heard it. No Quarter Pod, No Quarter Podcast, all the socials, all the podcast platforms. We are stoked to bring this show to you
Yes.
guys. More than anything, we're stoked about building a community. So we cannot wait for what this is going to turn into. Our goal is 1 a week. Bear with us as we kind of get on our feet. Things are still growing. We're still figuring out our schedules. We all have very wildly varied schedules, but our goal is a show a week. So yeah, we're really stoked to bring this to you guys, and thank you so much for listening, and please share the content as you see, if you find value in it and as you see fit. So
Yeah.
appreciate you guys.
Right on.
Catch you on the next one.
Late.